when that's when the leadership matters, is when things don't go the way you thought they're gonna go. Because it's easy, when you score 2 goals early in a game, it's easy to be a leader when everything is rolling, everybody's feeling good. But actually, the leadership, it's done in a situation where something is not going your way.
Welcome back to my podcast, Science and Sports. I'm your host, Simon, as usual, and today I'm joined by Lasse Kukkonen. Hi, Lasse.
Hi.
I hope my pronunciation was right on my end. I'm very, very excited to see you again and to hear you talk again. We kind of met in Tampere 2022 on the Coaching Symposium, where you had an awesome talk about leadership and the mental aspect of the beautiful game of hockey. So I'm very blessed that you have the time to talk to me today.
Thanks, Simon. It's really nice to be here talking to you with the topics that I think is a big part of the game or life. Yes. So it's so nice to be able to talk about these things.
You just mentioned it already. It's not about just leadership during the time on the ice. It's also about the aspects beyond the ice, off the ice, with your family, with your life and your friends. We'll get to that in a little bit. Before that, could you please give me a quick introduction about yourself for all my listeners?
Yeah, so my name is Lasse Kukkonen, and I used to play hockey. I played 20 years, a little bit in NHL, a little bit in KHL, Sweden, and most of the time in Finland, and a national team also. And I retired actually 2020 when the COVID changed everything, and it kind of changed my whole life also, because all the way by then the hockey was the biggest thing in my life. Of course, my family, but the professional wise. So after that season, I retired, and since then I've been talking about, I've been giving keynote speeches and coaching to young athletes, to business corporations and stuff like that. I'm still doing some work with the hockey, doing some TV specialist jobs. So, but I kind of move away from hockey, but still hockey is part of my life every day. I still love hockey, and I actually do one podcast also with my friend here in Finland. It's called Hockey Night, and a lot of things are involved in hockey still. So
that's a thing I wanted to address. Is your podcast purely in Finnish?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's.
I'd love to check it out, but I told you before, my Finnish isn't the greatest, so you have to do an English episode for us.
Yeah, we should actually. Hopefully we get a chance to do it.
Yep. Thanks, by the way, for your introduction. It was a very modest one. I think you had a career that most hockey players would dream of having, playing in the highest leagues all over the world. You've been Finnish champion as well. You won Olympic medals, World Championship medals, even also in the youth teams for Finland. So I think it's very nice of you to be that modest, but I think it's some accomplishments that probably every player would choose right away. It's amazing. Congrats to all those accomplishments, by the way.
Thanks.
I addressed it beforehand based on your talk you gave us in Tampere a couple of years ago. You talked about the athlete's mindset. You talked about leadership on and off the ice. So what I'm interested in, you had a very successful career, and you just shared you played your whole life. Everything was centered around obviously your family, but also hockey. Did you always have that kind of a focus on the game, where you're always someone who every teammate looked up to you? How was your development in the youth teams that made you who you are right now, focusing on that part of leadership?
Yeah, I don't know. It's always kind of like, I would say, hard to evaluate yourself, and you know what I mean. But I think a lot of that comes from my father. He used to always, he still is, he's of course older now, but when I was growing up, he always, he kept talking about the meaning of the team, and this is the team sport, and it's about how well you can do things together, and stuff like that. And I think that kind of like, when I now look back, I didn't understand it when I was 16, 17, 18, but that kind of helped me to have the right mindset when I was going into the games and practices and spending time with my teammates. And of course, when I got older, I started to pay more attention to it and started to actually, learn about it. Not just something that happens when I go, but actually like learn about it, and thinking about it. Well, could this be something that I could be better? And is there something that I can learn? And is there somebody who can help me with this? And hopefully, the teammates also got that feeling that I was trying to help the team and help us to be better. And because not every time it's not something that that you are doing the right things. Sometimes you have to just go by the gut feeling.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it sounds like you did the right things on and off the ice, because you probably wouldn't be in such a situation that you're the captain for a long time or assistant captain, and then that's even on the highest stage, the Olympic Games. I think your teammates looked up to you, because I never been at that stage, sadly, but it feels like you've done the right job to be put into that position by your teammates, by the coaches, and so on. When we talk about the mindset part, or also the leadership again, how do you rank it by importance of being a leader? I mean, you can learn from everyone. Sorry, you can learn from everyone, I think, or from anyone. But would you put it into a tier where you say it's very important to have a group of guys having this leadership, or do you think you could also be successful without having like 1, 2, maybe 3, 4 guys taking action and taking the responsibility on their shoulders?
I think you can kind of do it by yourself or alone, but I find it extremely difficult, especially like we know in a hockey team there's 25 to 30 guys. It depends a little bit about the injuries and stuff like that, but there's always like about over 20 guys are, and you have to include also not the players but all the staff members also.
Yep.
And I think it's really hard if you don't have, let's say, 4 or 5 guys at least who are kind of pulling the rope together. You don't have to do the same things, and you don't have to be same kind of persons, but you have to have the same kind of like idea and the mentality that okay, these are the things that we think that are important.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, it could be done by one man, but I think it's extremely difficult. I think it's especially in hockey because of course I'm a little bit maybe I'm so into hockey, but I think the hockey is the ultimate team sport because even the best players are on the ice about 20 minutes, and there's still 40 minutes left on the game that somebody else is on the ice. In football, there's the best players are on the pitch the whole 90 minutes.
Yep.
Basketball, basically the same thing. They may rest a couple minutes, but they usually play almost the whole game. But in hockey, it's less than half of the game. That even the best players, except the goalies, but otherwise, but the goalies are only allowed to stand on their own net. They can't usually go and score goals. So that's why I think hockey is you need kind of like the leadership group, and you need like 3 to 5, 6 guys maybe
Yep.
to buy in.
How would you tell me, if I never heard of that before, what true leadership means, how it's defined in your eyes? Because I think when you talk about leadership, obviously as a player or as in the captain's group, you have to stand up. You have to show that you also bought into the system the coach or the staff gives you, that you go forward with it, that you obviously you don't have to get along with everyone in the locker room, but you have to respect each other and you have to work towards your goal, because most of the times or a couple of times you see your teammates more often than your family. But like you also told us in your talk, or when we talked beforehand a bit, it's not just about in the locker room. You also have to be a leader on the ice. And how do you define that? If you keep the off ice part away for a second, do you have to be first in the group for the drills, or does it mean you have to always shoot on the net and never miss it? Or does it mean that you, in certain situations in the game, that you not only talk what we have to do, but you have to show them how it's done? Let's say under pressure, or if you don't have enough space or time, that you still make the right plays. You know what I mean? How do you
Yeah,
define that in your words?
I think I would define it that when something doesn't go your way or the way the team wants, like the game doesn't go the way you were planning, you're trailing behind, you're struggling. That's the time when the leadership matters. How do you respond? What do you
Mm-hmm.
do, when the other team has the momentum? Are you the one who kind of like fades away, or are you the one who steps up and says that, okay, we're gonna change this? And everybody knows that it might not change because life doesn't always go like that. But you
Mm-hmm.
have to be the one who kind of like shows the way that we are not gonna give up. You
Yeah.
don't have to be best player, you don't have to score a goal, but in your role, it might be that you're good penalty kill guy. Then you go out and you kill that one big penalty. You make sure that they don't score on this one, and we get the momentum. And I think you have to lead by example. You can talk the talk, but you have to walk the walk also.
Mm-hmm.
And but at the same time, you don't have to be the player who scores 3 goals every game. It might be that you take the big hit to make sure that the puck goes out of your zone. You may you block the big shot, or you get a good momentum in the offensive zone. You get a face off it there, but you have to be the kind when that's when the leadership matters. Is when things don't go the way you thought they're gonna go, because it's easy. When you score 2 goals early in a game, it's easy to be a leader when everything is rolling, everybody's feeling good. But actually, the leadership, it's done in a situation when something is not going your way. When you're losing, when you lost 2 games in a row, 3 games in a row, how do you come to the rink next morning? Do you walk in and find excuses and blame the coach, or do you come in the locker room and start working out and making sure that everybody's in the right mindset when we hit the ice and we have a high tempo and we compete against each other? If you have something, you want to talk to the coaches, you go and let them know that, how the feeling is. But you
Mm-hmm.
understand at the same time that your job is to, do the work on the ice and work together as with the coaches also.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of what I think on the ice or in the team, how you need to, find a way to be the leader.
So bottom line, every player plus the staff, obviously, but let's talk players, is in a way a leader for the team as well. Everyone has to show up when it's obviously not going away even more, but you stick together and you work yourself out of that misery, for example. Everyone has the role, and if you do your role correct, it gives the team the momentum.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think, like when things get tough, there's either two ways that team can choose. They can choose that, that those hard times, they break the team into pieces, or they make sure that those hard times make the team stick together even more. And that's when you need an example, how you behave, how you handle those situations.
Yeah. So you have to need to have the will to lead and to not only talk the talk like you just said, you have to show them by example on the ice and then also off the ice. Right
Exactly.
mindset, show up, do your work, do maybe more if it's need to be done.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. When we stick to that topic about leading the way, your talk at the symposium 2022 was titled Dare to Lead. Is it also kind of what we just talked about? You want to lead, you show up, you show everyone that you are not happy with the current situation. If it's going bad, you want to lead, right?
Yeah. I think it's the way I look at it is that at least I can only kind of like talk from my experience. There's players who want to score goals in every game, and for me, being a captain was the scoring goal, and on those times when something wasn't right or things didn't go our way, those were kind of my moments to score a goal. To step up, and of course, nobody's gonna score a goal in every game. So at the same time, I didn't, do the right thing every time. But I think the main, like dare to lead, the main thing is that you wanna be in that situation. And like in sports, we all know that, sometimes you still lose. That's part of the games. You have to kind of understand it. But the main thing is that you want to be there. You want to be that guy who will have to show example on those situations. Because like the guy who wants to score a goal, he needs to be on the ice when we have a power play. He wants to be there. He wants to be the guy who gets the pass and gets to shoot the puck in the last 10 seconds of the games. And I think for leadership, it's the same thing. Like you have to have the courage to be there, even if you know that you're not going to be or do the right thing every time, because that's life and that's sports.
Yeah. And also, like you said, it's not purely about performance, the leadership part of it. It's also, I think you can define it more as the mental aspect of it, like a cognitive task, and also a sociable task. That you're a good teammate off the ice as well. Like we just talked, you don't have to be best friends with everyone, but you have to respect each other. You spend a lot of time together. How important is that topic now that we put out for a second earlier, the off ice topic, that you get along off the ice, that you do the right things off the ice?
I think it's huge, especially because in sports and in hockey, there's so much pressure from outside, for the fans, sponsors, everybody. Then you need to have the feeling, togetherness, that, like even if, like not everybody's going to be best friends together, but they need to have a feeling that this guy is going to stand by me and he's going to, do everything he can to help me to be successful. And for that, you need to kind of know each other, not only the hockey wise, but the person, and understand, like the backgrounds a little bit, and not just a little bit. I know the background, so that for example, if we were teammates, you would understand that this is why Lasse, acts and behaves like that sometimes, because his history is this and that. I'm not, I'm not trying to, make you feel bad, but this is something, that I react this way, and it helps us again to kind of trust each other. And I think it's big part of that. And of course, in the team, there's, especially nowadays, there's a lot of young players. In Finnish leagues, there's players who are under 18, and the oldest players are 40. There's a huge gap between, and unless they, spend some time together off the ice and get to know each other, it's kind of hard to play together because you don't understand each other because you come in a different generations.
Yeah, you just mentioned it perfectly. What I was about to say, you have guys who might be married, might have a couple of kids, and their private life or off ice life is completely different than to a 16, 17-year-old. In their heads, they're two completely different worlds. And if you are sitting in a locker room, you probably know that as well. You don't spend that much time talking to each other, maybe. You're sitting across from each other, and you never get to really know each other. And if, like we said, you don't have to be best friends, it's maybe also a bit difficult for an 16, 17-year-old to get along with a 40-year-old, but to respect each other, get to know each other a bit, because you spend 9 months together in the same locker room. And I think that's a very important part of it, that you stick together as a group. Because we both know there is this phenomenon that the teams who are successful is not always the team who is the most skilled or scores the most goals. It's a lot of times it's the team who's the closest together. They act like a family and they behave like one on and off the ice.
Yeah, and I think, I know, again, people might think that I'm just saying this because I'm a Finn, but I think the Finnish national team is a perfect example of that. Like we have a lot of good players, but we don't have the best players. But we still always are able to compete against the best teams. And I think a lot of that comes from, like the tightness of the group. And again, I think you're totally right. That would be so easy if you just, who spends the most money wins the cup every year. But we know it doesn't go like that because you need something else. You need you need the friendship. You need some glue between the chemistry between the players, and that's something that you can't buy. You have to spend some time, create it, kind of nurture it, and but when it happens, that's when the stories begin to write themselves, and that's something that you always miracle on ice. You go back 40 years after, and everybody is still talking about it. And that's the best part of the sports also, because you don't know who's gonna win until the game is played, and that's why everybody that's why it's so exciting.
100%. You never know what the outcome is, but you can obviously work towards your goal as a team. And I think probably if you talk to someone outside of sports, they might not understand how it evolves. But if you stick together, if you spend time together on and off the ice, just like you said, the chemistry, the friendships, and then maybe people find it funny to say, but this family style of working together, it's not like in a real job. It's something sport specific, but it can change a lot. It can change the course of your season for sure.
Yeah, and I think you perfectly summed up what I'm what I miss about hockey. I don't miss about winning because I know how hard that is, but I miss about that closeness, even my last year I was 38 and the youngest guys were 16, 17, and I still felt like we are in the same group, and I still if I see the guys, I call them. Even now, we don't call every week or nothing like that, but I still, get the feeling that it's easy to talk to them, and it's so nice to see them now, especially, they are growing up and they are starting to have a family and stuff like that, and and that bond never kind of fades away once you create it in the locker room.
Yes,
because
exactly.
It's something, like you said, it's kind of unique, and at the same time, it's not easy, and it doesn't happen every time with every team. But when it happens, it's kind of like it's the glue that keeps pulling people back to the sports.
Yeah, for sure. What I don't miss about playing other road games, obviously, sitting in a bus for ages, but that's exactly a reason what I do miss. luckily in my position, I can still hang out in the locker room, be part of it, talk some funny stories. But yeah, let's stay on that topic in the locker room talks. Do you have a story for us where there was this phase in a season or in your career maybe where there was this deciding point of sticking your head in the sand or growing together as a team when you were between failure and success, maybe? Where it showed that if you stick together, great things can happen? Or also the other way around?
Yeah, I think when I came back to Finland season 2013, 2014, we started off pretty well. Then we like month in the season we struggled. We lost maybe 5 or 6 games in a row. And I remember we came back from the road. I think it was like after midnight, late,
Mm-hmm.
and we stayed in the locker room. The captains, the leadership group, and the coaches, and we kind of we had to face the reality. So what's going on? And we talk about, is our playing system is the right? Do we play the right way? Do we practice the right way? And then at the some point we realized that we don't know each other. Like we keep talking about the trust, and keep talking about we need to play as a team, but we don't know each other. We just the team is just come together. So on the next road trip in a couple of days, we go on the road day before the game, and we sat down in a big meeting room with the whole staff, the trainers and the coaches and team management and the players, and we start talking about. So everybody tells something about themselves, and everybody said something. Of course, we didn't force anybody to tell something that they didn't want, but everybody shared something about themselves, not just like I'm Lasse, I'm the left team, and but about their life. And we didn't change anything how we played or how we practiced. And after that meeting, we won 17 games in a row. And I think a lot of that comes from kind of the relief that okay, now we know each other. I don't have to, be worried about. I don't have to worry about do these guys, do they stand by me if I make mistakes? Because we talk about, we get to know each other. We understand that I was a captain at that time, and the younger players, they realize that I will make mistakes too. I have made big mistakes in my career. I played some really bad games. That's part of the journey also.
Yep.
And I think that helps to have a focus on the team that we are playing against. You don't have to worry about the guy next to you. That okay, what is he thinking? Is he happy to play with me? Is he does he want to play with me or not? All those kind of like topics that sometimes takes too much our energy,
Mm-hmm.
because the energy should be against the team we're playing against, not in our team. And I think that's the best example about the one meeting that like we decided that we're gonna stick together.
Yep. It feels like we keep on, in a positive way, keep on circling around the same keywords, kind of, about the team cohesion, about the respect for each other, and also about the chemistry. And it sounds, when we talk about it, it sounds so easy to flip a switch, to change something. But in reality, you obviously know that, I don't want to say rarely occurs that you are really glued together, but it's not a thing that every season happens for every team. So what makes it in the reality so much harder to find someone who can lead by example, who find a good group of guys? Why is it such a difficult task to do every year?
Yeah, that's a good point, because I would say I played maybe 70 or 80 different teams if you count all the national teams together.
Mm-hmm.
And out of those 80 teams, maybe 10 or 15 actually got the glue together. And like you said, it's really hard. And I think because it's, first of all, it's so many different persons, and it's not just the hockey life that matters, because we all have a different stages in our life also. Something happens at home, or you're with your parents or siblings, and that always affects how we approach the game and the life inside the locker room. So that's why I think it's so hard, because it's something. And also it all the members in the staff, they need to be kind of so open to be open to that. We might do everything right and we might still lose in the first round of playoffs, for example.
Yep.
Because there's no guarantees ever in sports that if we do this and we get to know each other, and then we're gonna win the cup, you still might lose in the first round. And so that's why, because it's always, and there's players in a different different part of their careers. Somebody is going up, and somebody is older and he's going down, and you need to have a right mix, and you never know what's the it would be easy to, if you knew it, what's the right mix is. It's about the personalities, it's about the stages of life, and it's also about so many things that you can't control, because I would be lying if I would say that it doesn't need winning. You don't have to win all the time, but you need to win in the right moments. Because if you keep losing, everybody start be afraid of their jobs, coaches and players, because we all know that if team loses a lot, there's gonna be changes, and sometimes you feel that it's not fair. Sometimes it's not, but that's how the hockey world goes, and that's why when you keep losing, it gets harder, because everybody start feel afraid of what's going to happen to me instead of what's going to happen to us.
Yeah.
And that's normal, because it affects lives. Like if I get fired from my job in hockey, most likely it means that my whole family has to move. My kids has to find a new school and new friends, and it's not just me, it's everybody around me.
Yeah, for sure. And then, like you just shared with me, if it doesn't go your way or your team's way, then you can truly see who takes responsibility and who makes the first step into the right direction again. Because we both know, if you are on a losing streak and then you get a couple of ugly goals, you win 1 or 2 games, and then it's getting easier and easier. And then sometimes the luck is on your side. You know how it is. You can't describe it or why it happens, but if you are on a bad run, then everything works against you, and the other way around. So that's then probably, you will tell me the same. That's the point where you truly need to show up and be there for your team, because then everyone else will buy in again, like we just discussed as well.
Yeah, I think when you're in a losing, let's say in a losing streak, from my experience, you usually, let's say you lost 2 games, you most likely will lose at least 1 more game, even if you deserve to win that game.
Yeah.
You played better, you were a better team on the ice, but they got the lucky bounces.
Yeah.
And that's when we are in a situation that you described, that you need somebody to say, okay, we keep doing this, we keep pushing, we keep going, because we're going to win the next one. If not, we're still going to keep going, because we're going to win that. After that one, we're going to win. And then it will turn. But like you said, you most likely you played a good game, be a better team, and you still lose. But that same thing happens when you're in a winning streak. At the end of the streak, you most likely win 1 or 2 games that you should have lost.
Yep.
But because the momentum and luck is on your side, and you think that, okay, we don't need to change anything because we keep winning, but the bad habits are already there.
Yep, for sure. 100%. I want to address 1 or 2 more questions to you regarding, we talked about the player side and obviously about your career and your experience that you had as a player. But now from the other side of the spectrum, as a coaching point of view, how do you think can coaches collaborate with each other and also with the players to build leaders, to integrate them into the team? I mean, if you're stuck in the season, you might not get new players. You maybe don't have the budget or whatever. But how can coaches kind of build someone into this position without just throwing them into the cold water?
Yeah, that's a really good question. That's actually the question since I retired that I've been spending a lot of time with. And the problem for me was that I don't know if I have an answer yet, but I've been thinking about it, was because every time you name the captain, and then everybody says, you don't need to change anything, just be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times that's not true. But I mean is that the coaches have some expectations what they think that captain should be. And again, it's not about the right or wrong, but you need to tell the captain, okay, these are the things or these are the situations when I need you. And then the player who's the captain, he can start thinking about and maybe, spend some time or talk to somebody how he feels about those situations and what he thinks that he would do on those situations.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you just say that, don't change anything, just be yourself, I think it's same that you say to player that, okay, player comes to you and says, hey, how I can be better? And you just say that, I don't think there's anything. You just keep playing the way you are playing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not helping the player because he wants to be better. So you need to, give him something. And that's the first thing I need. You need to kind of like, okay, these are the situations that I need my captain to step up or be a leader. And these are the things that, you can't, as a captain, you can't do.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't throw your teammates under the bus after the bad game, for example.
Yeah.
So that, there's nothing that, that he needs to guess or, like kind of like he's not sure about it. There's always those things, but more communication, how coaches see the captain.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's something in sports, in hockey, that we are not good at. We spend a lot of time thinking about how we can help players to be better goal scorers, how the players can be better skaters, how players can be better defending or power play or penalty kill. But we don't spend nearly any time thinking about how players can be better leaders. And that's something that we can learn from, the corporate world.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's always, there's a leadership programs in every big company. There's a leadership program. They want to grow, the next wave of the leaders, the CEOs and COOs. And in hockey and in sports, it's just, like, just be yourself. That's kind of like, especially because I remember I was 21 when I was named the first time the team captain in Finnish Elite League.
Mm-hmm.
And I was lucky. We had a couple of other players who helped me a lot. But like I was lost. But of course, when I was 20, I thought that I know everything, and I'm the perfect captain. That kind of helped me. But now when I look back, there were so many things that I needed to learn, and I learned it through the other players helping me. One big thing they said to me was, like, you don't need to be the best players, but where you behave and how you, handle the tough situations and how you treat people. Those are the key moments.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things that I learned doing the mistakes and looking back and say, okay, that's not the way the captain should behave or act. But that's the one thing I need, that more communication to help the captain, to understand what somebody else is expecting from him, the coaches are expecting from him.
Yeah. Do you think you can, final question, because it was beautiful set on your end, there's nothing really more to add on my side, but you think that everyone has the ability to be a leader, be a captain, for example, or you think you can grow into it as older you get?
Yeah, I think you can grow into it. I think everybody can be a captain, but I don't know if everybody wants to be a captain.
Yep.
And if you don't want to be a captain, then you shouldn't be a captain.
Yep.
Because the same thing that, like coaches can see that I'm the best, guy to be on a penalty kill, but I don't want to kill penalties, so I'm not going to be good at that.
Yeah.
So same thing that, and of course there's somebody who might be more natural to it, because the personality matters.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, there's no, that this type is only the captain. If you want to be a captain, you can learn it and you can grow into it. But if you don't want to be the captain, then you should say that, okay, I don't want to be the captain. I want to be, I want to do something else for this team.
Yep. Beautiful said, Lasse. You mentioned briefly during our conversation that you spent your time now after your career working towards figuring out how to develop leadership, how to take responsibility in a positive way. Is there any way or form to get in touch with you regarding that, or is there any work you put out there in the internet where people can find more about that?
There's my homepage is KUKKOLASSE.fi, and it's also in English. You can find it English version there also. There's something, and of course there's if you are in Finland, and hopefully I'm coming to World Championships in Switzerland this year,
Mm-hmm.
and hopefully I get a chance to be more involved in international hockey, and like you mentioned, where we met is the coaching symposium. I hopefully get more chances to be there and share my thoughts. I would love that, because, like I said, kind of my passion is how we can help the next generation of leaders, captains, to be better than we were, because they are a lot smarter. They are a lot quicker to learn things. So
Yeah.
I think they're gonna be awesome, and hopefully we can enjoy that by watching good hockey.
Yep. There's so many demands that you have to also or already have to bring into that game. And like, for example, you have to be skilled, you have to be fast, you have to be strong, but also most importantly, you have to be the right person, and you have to develop, you have to grow into the positions you might be in the future and over your career. So it's awesome that you are working towards those goals in those fields, and I hope that you will achieve something big in the future and to develop and teach the new coaches, the new players, and so on. And on my end, it was a pleasure talking to you, seeing you again, and I wish you all the best for the upcoming tasks, and I might see you in Switzerland. Who knows?
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you so much. It was my pleasure to be guest
Thank
here.
you very much. Take care and have a nice day.
You too.
Bye-bye. Thanks for listening to the show. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to follow the podcast, leave a rating or comment, and share it with someone who loves sports science. And for more content, follow me on Instagram at science_in_sports_. See you in the next episode.